Well. Um, you know, this is why I can't wait for April to come, the NFL draft to come, just this decision of if the Bears are keeping Justin Fields or if they're letting him go finally ends. Absolutely finally ends. Because, you know, it's absolutely crazy with what's going on between the toxicity on Chicago Bears Twitter, obviously, X, whatever you want to call it. And then you just have it to where you have your talking heads on the Chicago media outlets and things like that, saying it. I think it's pretty obvious that most media members want Justin Fields gone in favor of Caleb Williams. Brad Biggs kind of is already making a report saying, oh, it's basically a done deal that, the Bears are going to move on from Justin Fields. Brad Biggs is saying that. It wasn't too long ago, Danny Parkins, like a few weeks ago, was literally wearing a Caleb Williams custom-made jersey, Chicago Bears jersey, on National Airways. And I'm like, people, he's not even on the team yet, and you're already making jerseys for this guy. What if the Bears do move off Justin Fields and we don't get Caleb Williams? So that jersey you just blew money on is for nothing. And I think they went to some sort of convention or something where it was like a live audience, and then they made it to where it's like, oh, Bear fans, cheer if you want Justin Fields here, or cheer if you want Caleb Williams here. Very cringeworthy stuff. Very cringeworthy stuff. Very disgusting behavior by the Chicago media. And obviously, I think the number one thing you can kind of get here, which is somewhat kind of disgusting, is what David Kaplan said today. I think today on ESPN 1000. I'll play the clip and everything, but calling Justin Fields a coward and everything for the reason why he unfollowed the Chicago Bears. And he gave that explanation on Amon Ra and Equanimous St. Brown's podcast. But before I get into that, I did see the Shane Waldron press conference, and I guess some tidbits from the press conference. One, Eberflus, he's got a beard now. The man looks like he went into hibernation, and now he got a full beard. So I don't know if he's going to shave it by the start of the season, but hey, the man's got a beard. Personally, I think he should keep it. Now, apparently with Matt Eberflus, he is going to call the defense still, which makes sense. He literally took control of the defense last year, and he was calling the plays for the defense last year, and the defense played slightly better. They still blew games under his watch. Let's not be wrong about that. So now we 100% know, okay, going into this upcoming season, who is calling the defensive plays? And we know it's not Eric Washington. Now, he'll probably have some say, but I bet you what's going to happen is if Eberflus somehow stays, for another season, he'll probably call maybe plays for this year, and then he'll turn it over to Eric Washington. But listen, no more excuses for Matt Eberflus. If he's going out there and he's blowing games and his defense is the main culprit, why they're blowing games? Because they're up in a game, maybe 2 or 3 scores, and then in the fourth quarter, you let a team get back in the game and win the game, and and your defense blows it. Well, then the blame 100% goes on Matt Eberflus, and I better not have that man come to the podium and 100% say, oh, the players didn't execute. You could say a little bit of both. The players didn't execute, and I could have done a better job at calling a more aggressive game plan late in the game so that didn't put us in a situation where the opposing team comes back on us. So that's kind of the thing. Shane Waldron, his press conference was, he basically just talked about what we hope that we get out of him. He talked about adjusting his play calling to the players' strengths and adjusting his offensive scheme to the players around him, which is something that Lou Getsy failed to do last year. And that was doing that and just basically, force the system. I just sincerely hope, whether we have Justin Fields or a new quarterback, I just sincerely hope we finally have an offensive-minded somebody in the building that is willing to call the plays and fit the scheme around the player's strength. Not run the system, and if you can't run it, well, you can't do it. Get the hell out of town. Because that's what Matt Nagy was about. That's what Luke Getsy was about. If you can't run my system, why are you here? You're worthless. So I hope Shane Waldron is the opposite of those two. It'd be actually a breath of fresh air if we can get an offensive-minded coach that actually play calls to his players' strengths and adjust the scheme to his players, not making the players adjust to his scheme. And he talked about, as a coach, we got to do what our job is to do is put the players in the best position to succeed and teach the players. Good. Again, and this is why when it comes to me for coaches, press conferences are nice to an extent. They say everything that you want to hear. And then all we got to do is turn on the freaking tape to see, okay, are you actually doing what you said you were going to do in your press conference? You can make the argument with freaking Matt Eberflus. You can ask him the question today. Are you exerting the hits principle? Because I don't think this past season you were exerting that. Some players that should have been benched didn't get benched. Some coaches you weren't holding accountable for, or no, yourself as the head coach of the team, were you holding yourself accountable? You weren't doing that. So, and isn't the A is accountable or no hits or something like that? What, there is no A in hits, but wasn't like one of the standards of the hits principle being accountable? So, whatever. Yeah, he said nice things. He said he shot Justin Fields a message, so that doesn't really say like, okay, he's gonna stay. Clearly, he also brought up the fact, and obviously the media, they tried to bait him into saying, yeah, Caleb Williams is a great prospect and things like that. And luckily, the Bears PR, Ryan Poles and his staff must have trained him like, listen, if they ask you any questions about Caleb Williams, just talk about the whole crop of quarterbacks, saying, they're all great prospects. We're just gonna go into the room and evaluate them, and the combine's coming up and everything. But you see what I'm talking about when I get to the Chicago media. Damn near almost every question. You had like almost 3 or 4 back-to-back questions of these media reporters. I understand they're doing their job, but it's like, dude, if the second time you answer the question, the guy's not really giving any answers or any insights, he's not gonna blurt out like, yeah, it'd be great to get Caleb Williams or something like that. Like, Ninja. No, he's not going to say that. He's not gonna tip his hand to opposing teams. Like, my God. Like, yes, he mentioned the fact, like, yeah, obviously me being on the West Coast, that gave me more of a view from his perspective, from where he came from in Seattle, to catch, I guess, some Caleb Williams games on Saturdays if he wasn't game planning or something like that. But that's the thing right then and there. But Shane Waldron, I liked what he had to say. Hopefully he executes it. So obviously the main talking point that is of this video is centered around just how sick and tired and how toxic of a cesspool the Chicago media is, especially when it comes to this debate. Now, I'll play the video. Essentially, David Kaplan, I guess this morning, went on ESPN 1000, or at some point, I guess the day after the 33rd podcast with Amon-Ra, Equinemius, and St. Brown, where Justin Fields went on and talked about why he unfollowed the Bears. David Kaplan essentially called Justin Fields a coward for unfollowing the Bears. Now, I don't see how unfollowing somebody makes you a coward, but all right, let's do it. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to play the video where Justin Fields talks about why he unfollowed the Chicago Bears. So hold on. Let me do this. All right. I'm going to load it up here on X or Twitter or whatever. Actually, I'm going to close this, get out of the full screen, because there's really nothing else. And plus, it's got obviously stuff right there. I'm going to make sure my audio is loud and clear so I can hear. So I'm gonna play the video, this 54-second video.
Since we're here, hold on. But I mean, no. Since we're here, all right, come on. What's with the unfollow with the Bears? What's up with that? Man, bro, I'm glad we're talking about it because why do people take social media so serious? Like, why are you unfollowing the Bears? Like, I still mess with the Bears. I'm just trying to take a little break. I unfollow the Bears and the NFL, bro. I'm not just trying to have football on my timeline. Like, I know y'all mess with a girl, EQ, especially you. Just because you don't follow the girl on IG, don't mean you're not messing with her. That's true. That's true. That's facts. That's fact. Oh, so you're saying you mess with the Bears more now that you follow them? Man, it's not even like that. It's something that I don't want to see in my timeline. I'm about to go on vacation. I don't want to see no football. And guess what? Just get a little away for a little bit. It's either keep Fields. We want Fields to the draft Taylor. So it's like, bro, man, I'm tired of hearing the talk. I just want to be over it.
There you go. Watch the entire podcast. When I watched this podcast or I was listening to it while I was at work, it was very insightful, and it was cool to see again Justin Fields in another limelight. Again, just outside of the typical stuff we see in the typical media press conference and things like that. So, anyways, he said that on the St.Brown Bros Podcast of why it is. Now, it was funny how he used the analogy about it's like following a girl on IG or unfollowing a girl on IG, but it doesn't mean like you still don't mess with them. Now, personally, I never had a girlfriend. I know, crazy, but I don't know if that applies. But all right, it was a funny thing. I guess if there's any facts to that, I guess there's facts to that. But hey, the guy was being honest. He was talking about how he's basically tired of the talk and the everything he's seen over his timeline. In terms about keep Justin Fields or, go get Caleb or something like that, And clearly you can say, well, he can just stay off social media then. Well, if the guy likes to be on social media from time to time and he just wants to see what's going on his feed, maybe he got other friends he wants to see post of or other stories. And if he's seeing this on his TL, like all the damn time, well, Ninja, you're going to get annoyed. You're going to get upset. And you're going to be like, Ninja, I want this shit to be over so I can freaking like relax for a bit, actually know if I need to like pack my bag somewhere. And he even talked about later in the podcast, like he wants to get in the film room and start like looking at film, but because obviously he's in this like situation where he potentially could be getting traded, he doesn't know if he might be able to look at film being things like that. So it's like you can actually relate. And it's honestly, and I know there's some people out there in the media, whether it's national media or Chicago media, giving him shit for his answer and saying, well, dude, just stay off social media. Yeah, he can, but listen, trust and believe. I always say I want to be off social media too, but there's always some times where it's like, all right, I just need to get on social media to see what's going on. And see what's going on with the people I follow or other situations going on or other reactions to other sports and things like that. So can you blame the guy for being upset? Like, legitimately, if the number one thing on his TL is fans talking about how they want him here or fans want him gone, and then you obviously got the freaking Chicago media over his TL talking about like, oh, we need to freaking we need to get rid of freaking Justin Fields. We need to draft Caleb Williams. That's going to get annoying to him. And I can completely understand, like, be in his shoes. If you were basically you're in a situation where your boss is trying to make a decision if you should stay or go, wouldn't that get you upset? Wouldn't that get you annoyed? Wouldn't that get you like tired to the point you want to get off a situation? And trust and believe. And please, he also talked about like how it's like a big deal and people blow up about it. Listen, every sports player in any professional sports league, they always do this situation where they unfollow the team and then people in the media just speculate about it. Justin Fields is the next one. But of course, leave it to the Chicago media blowing it up out of proportion. Now let's get to the David Kaplan crap that he said this afternoon, where he talked about how Justin Fields is apparently a coward. And obviously, so far, most Chicago Bear fans, even the ones, and when I say most, the ones that are siding with Kap are like very minor, and they're using this Mitch Trubisky. Well, when Mitch Trubisky did the whole, turn off the TVs in Hallis Hall crap, nobody gave him crap for that. But you Justin Fields defenders, there's even some people that are like completely done with Fields are legitimately saying like, no, David Kaplan, you're in the wrong. You can't call this man a coward because he's put his body on the line for this team time and time again. Let's listen to what the Kap man has to say in his idiotic statement.
Unfollowing the Bears, unfollowing the NFL, that's a coward's way out. I don't want all the rumors on my timeline. I just want to go on vacation and get away from everything. Then why do you go on a podcast to become the lead story on every channel? When has the Bears ever posted about a rumor? The answer is never. So that's a bunch of BS, Justin. 2, there's a mute button. Why don't you just mute the ones you don't want to see? Or better yet, you can delete the app and sign back on when vacation's over if that's what you choose. 3, I want the TVs turned off. I'm tired of hearing about the Bears quarterback spot. Mitchell David Trubisky, 2019. How is that any different than this guy saying, I just want it to be over. I'm tired of the rumors. Caleb, Justin, Caleb. Why don't you just keep your mouth quiet and just get off the grid, man? Unfollowing the Bears, unfollowing the NFL.
Yeah, you clearly see it. And you have it to where Aaron Lemming, he ended up coming at Kap basically saying, Kap, come on, man. Fields has given this team everything he's had for 3 years. 2 of those under awful circumstances for any quarterback, but especially a young quarterback. Dude has been the heart and soul of this team. Nothing about him is cowardly, even if it didn't work out and they move on. And then David Kaplan, the dumbass himself, doubles down and literally says, I said unfollowing is cowardly. I did not say he was cowardly. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. But David Kaplan, you're calling him a coward still. That tweet alone makes absolutely no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. How is unfollowing somebody cowardly? No, you did call him cowardly, and you're basically insulting his character. So you hear that statement from David Kaplan, and this just goes into this whole situation of the Chicago Bears media being absolute, especially on the radio shows, this throughout this time, being absolutely just annoying and terrible. Now, if you want to counteract and say, well, I think you're just being too damned over dramatic about this, you can say that. That's fine. But the fact that David Kaplan basically accused Justin Fields of being a coward just because he unfollowed the Bears off of social media, and he gave a pretty solid reason as to why. Yeah, you can maybe say, well, he can get off social media, but at the end of the day, for him, when you're in his shoes, maybe that's the best thing to do. Unfollow the team, unfollow the NFL, get it off the timeline, and hope it is off the timeline. But for the fact that David Kaplan called Justin Fields a coward, that's absolutely embarrassing, and that's absolutely a stain. And I don't blame Bear fans who say they lost respect for David Kaplan. I understand everything Justin Fields has done in a Chicago Bears uniform hasn't been 100% perfect. I can admit that. But I'm not going to sit up here and say that Justin Fields, through everything that he had to endure, was a coward. If Justin Fields was legitimately like not wanting to go into games and not wanting to play for the Bears, okay, that's a coward. That's a coward. That's somebody that doesn't want to put in the work and the effort and the time in to do this. But this guy basically, like Aaron Lembing said, was the heart and soul of the Chicago Bears for the past 3 seasons. Literally, the Bears went as far as Justin Fields took them. And other outside factors obviously played a role in the reason why maybe the team didn't win as much and why he didn't perform as well. But to sit here and watch all the games he's played in, take all these heinous shots, all these unnecessary hits, basically damn near almost barely picking himself off the ground in a sport that is so violent, one play can take away your entire career, or if not your life. Go ask Damar Hamlin that situation that almost happened with him. He almost lost his life. And guess what? Damar Hamlin came back and played football. When Damar Hamlin, after he came back, he could have took the backwards way out and would be completely justified. Completely justified to say, I'm going to call it a career. I had a very traumatic experience, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm not going to call Damar Hamlin a coward or anything, but that takes a lot of courage to basically come back to the play football where you almost died on the field. And knowing all of those factors, David Kaplan has the audacity to call Justin Fields a coward because he unfollowed the Chicago Bears on social media. No, David Kaplan is a coward because if Justin Fields came on the Kap and Hood show and the J-Hood radio show for an interview, I guarantee you David Kaplan would not be telling Justin Fields on the radio or to his face that he's a coward for unfollowing the Bears. Trust and believe. David Kaplan would not be saying that to his face. So David Kaplan can miss me with, oh, I didn't mean, I was talking about the unfollow was cowardly. I'm not saying he was cowardly. No, you said what you said. You called Justin Fields essentially a coward, a bitch, essentially. That's what he called him. I understand David Kaplan has this narrative he wants to push about the Bears moving on from Justin Fields. And listen, if you have any issues with Justin Fields as a player in terms of his play, keep it at that. There was no need to take things personal and call into question his character being a coward. I watched basically all of Justin Fields' games since he's been a Chicago Bear, preseason and all. He was not a coward. There's times where the man took heinous hits. He barely is getting back up. He gets back up, he dusts himself off, and he plays the next down. When he could have just said, yeah, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go to the blue tent. I'm going to go call it a career. I'm going to go call it a day. That's the coward's way out. To get out of the game because, oh, you took a pretty big hit. That's what a coward is. Calling any NFL player in general a coward is absolutely asinine. They put their bodies on the line, their lives on the line, their familyhood, their livelihood on the line, just for us to be entertained and cheer for them. And we're calling one player because we want him out of the city. We don't want him to be the quarterback of the Chicago Bears anymore because he didn't take the direction that we wanted or we expected him to take. He's a coward. There'll be some Chicago Bears that disagree with my opinion. That's fine. If David Kaplan sees this and he disagrees with my take, I would love to have him on the fucking channel. I highly doubt he'll see this video because I only have like 56 subscribers, whatever. But I would love him to join on the freaking channel. And then we can truly debate and say, all right, what's your issue with Justin Fields? Do you like him or do you not like him? I'll be back in a quick sec. So, yeah. And listen, everybody's entitled to his own opinion. You know, Kap has his reasons for why he wants to move on Justin Fields. But I don't think he needs to insult the man's character. And I don't care. If he were to even be on my channel and say and give his reason as to why, I would just be like, listen, I respectfully disagree because you can come up with your reasons, but at the end of the day, you're still calling him a coward. So for me, does that make me a coward if I unfollow any of my friends on social media, on Instagram? If I unfollow any other coworkers I affiliate with on LinkedIn or something like that? Or or just social media in general, or any of the fans for my favorite teams I interact. Does that make me a coward then? Because that's apparently what David Kaplan is saying. If you unfollow somebody on social media, that makes you a coward. Like, seriously. It's just gotten to the point where the Chicago media, they're clearly just out there to push their narratives and just get what they want. And that's why, it never behooved me why Justin Fields, every time he stepped to the podium at the press conference, he looked pretty pissed off. Because he knows he didn't want to talk to these guys. And if he comes back, I would not blame him if he doesn't want to talk to them, but he knows he has to talk to them. Because guess what? He can equally say, and he definitely knows that probably everybody in that reporting room who's a beat reporter for the Bears, he would know, oh, these guys wanted me out. They wanted me out of here. So why should I talk to them? But because he's a professional, because he's a man that is not a coward, that is willing to face the media, willing to face the fire, and willing to call himself out if he's played bad. He'll stand up there and be 100% adamant and admit if he's effed up. That's not the show of a coward. That's not the show of a coward. So that's basically what I wanted to say. David Kaplan, I think, is 100% in the wrong. It's absolutely offensive that he said that. If you're gonna have people who want Caleb Williams saying, hey, David Kaplan, come on now, you're pushing it a bit about Justin Fields. That's an absolute shot at Justin Fields' character. And if I were one of his family members, I'd be upset. I would be upset. It's clear. And it's the same thing with the Chicago Bears media. And it's the same thing I say with the fans. Same thing I say with the Chicago Bears media. They only want instant gratification. I'm 100% convinced. If the Bears draft Caleb Williams, Justin Fields goes somewhere else, he succeeds. He's doing good. He's playing good football. Caleb Williams is finding his way, and he's struggling. You're going to have guys like David Kaplan on radio shows out here in Chicago legitimately saying, why the hell did we trade that guy away? And why did we draft this guy? And the next thing you know, they're going to turn on Caleb Williams like they're doing with Justin Fields right now. And they're going to say, Caleb Williams, not the generational prospect we thought he was. Time to go get the next guy. Who's the next guy in the draft? Arch Manning? How many years is it going to take until he comes out? Or Shedeur Sanders or whatever. I already know. I already see it coming. Caleb Williams stinks his first season. Lo and behold, you're going to have Bears media on the radio talk about, oh, this is not the generational prospect we thought we were getting. And then if Fields goes somewhere else and he succeeds, they're going to easily be like, why do we trade that guy? When you're the same people that wanted him gone. You wanted him out of town. But you see, you didn't want no patience. Because if he ain't good by year 3, time to move him out. So that's what I wanted to say. That's my, I guess you can say, this is my pushback or my reaction / recounter and reply to David Kaplan. It'll be funny if he actually comments on the video. It would be funny. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn how long he's been in radio for Chicago. I don't give a damn. You can call me a Justin Fields supporter or Justin Fields fanboy or whatever. I'm not going to insult any person, their act of being a coward on the team, unless I see it. Unless I see it. But it's absolutely stupid. Absolutely embarrassing. David Kaplan should walk back on those comments he said and legitimately apologize to Justin Fields for that. Because you literally called him a coward and you literally said he is a coward. And that's the basis of his character. Justin Fields is far from a coward. He's a man that's strong. He's a man that's got a lot of courage. And he's just sick of everything that's going on. I don't blame him. As a fan, I'm freaking sick of this shit between this Caleb Williams, Justin Fields debate. Hell, Kurt Warner just tweeted a few hours ago talking about, I can't really get a good gauge on these college quarterbacks because the schemes they're in and the freaking plays are being called. My God. It's just making me want to pull his hair out. Literally what Kurt Warner said. And I'm like, oh, really? So I just want to give my thoughts on this whole situation that David Kaplan did. Congratulations or good job on the Bear fans for schooling this dude and roasting this guy and calling his ass out because he needs to be called out for that. I don't know if Jonathan Hood freaking checked him for saying those comments. Jonathan Hood probably agreed with him for David Kaplan for all crying out loud. But it just goes to show you that these radio media, they just say things for clicks and they say things to push their own narratives. I'm glad that Chicago Bear fans, they're calling out David Kaplan for his comments and roast him, even the ones that do want Caleb Williams and aren't fans or were never fans of Justin Fields. Even those people are saying, like, come on now. I may have not liked Justin Fields, but let's not call his character into question and call him a coward. He's very far from the least of being a coward. And on top of it, too, about the question he was asked, it wasn't Equinemius, his teammate, that asked him the question. It was the division rival, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who asked that question about why he unfollowed the Bears. I bet you my ass the Detroit Lions want Justin Fields away from the division so damn bad because Justin Fields always goddamn cooks their asses. Trust and believe. If Justin Fields is traded, the Detroit Lions will be like, thank heavens, we don't have to deal with his ass no more because he keeps killing us and we can't stop it. So that's the thing. And Equinemius St. Brown barely chipped into that whole conversation about why the Justin Fields unfollowed the Bears. Amon-Ra was the one kind of instigating it more than anything. So, whatever. And then what are you going to do? If the man's teammate is asking him, hey, we want you on a podcast so we can get to know you better and the people can get to know you better and things like that, you know, like, what, you're going to turn down a podcast offer from your teammate? You're going to go on there. I'm going to say, and you're just going to talk, and that's what they did. You watch the entire podcast, they just talked about other stuff. And, like, they barely even talked about the Bears situation with him and Fields. Like, they barely talked about that. It was only, like, 2 points they talked about it. And then after that, they're talking about a bunch of other random stuff on the podcast. Like, they were talking about freaking college football. So they're talking about what is wide receiver you. But see, the media only analyzes the Bears portion of when he talked about the Bears. They didn't talk about, like, oh, it's actually pretty cool to see a different side of Fields that we typically don't really see. I think it's cool. Like, shit, I would love to hang out with freaking Justin Fields. He seems like a cool-ass dude. Fun dude to be around, too. You know? So, yeah. But anyways, I wanted to say my piece on that. If you disagree, you disagree. That's fine. If you agree with what I have to say, hey, agree with what I said. But that's what I wanted to leave it at that. And that's just my thoughts on the situation. But anyways, I'm going to get out of here. Catch you guys in the next video. Till then, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day, night, or whatever. I'm trying on this video. Till then, guys, peace.